Straight Talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
Hello to every one of our Simply Straight Talk listeners. Are you ready to free your mind and free your voice? Well, you're listening to the right podcast. So let's get this real talk started with your host, Reggie Maddox.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Simply Straight Talk Show, and today we have a discussion for you. Breakups, co-parenting, after the split, and moving on from breakups. And guess who is back in the house? It's been a minute, but we all love Melissa. Welcome back, Melissa.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I've missed everyone. I've missed being on here with you, Reggie. Gosh, it's been a long time coming.
I know.
Oh, gosh. Yes, these schedules, they have been insane trying to, find the timing that's right for everybody. And it just seems like it was never right for me. Reggie was ready. Melissa was not.
And that's one thing I try to tell them because they're here, Angelique, and then they say, well, where's Melissa? Where's Melissa? I'm like, listen, the three of us have lives in the real world, so, it don't always come into play to where we can just, jump on and, be together, Angelique's in London. Even me, they think me and you are in the same state. Like, no, we're not even in the same state.
We're close, but not that close.
Not that close.
Oh gosh, yes. And these kids, that I got, they're all over the place. I got the one, he's 7, and to anybody who was doing that virtual school, if the year is over for y'all, congratulations, y'all. We done made it. Oh my gosh. I done had many breakdowns this school year and last school year, but this school year, I said, I can't do it, Lord. I can't do it. But I said, you know what? He's not going to put anything on me that I cannot handle. I got this. But damn it. It was hard. Oh gosh, I said, man, the liquor store couldn't be any closer. Good grief. But I stay out of there, Melissa. You got this. But it is over, so I am back and I am ready to talk. I just got some things I really need to get off my chest. Reggie, you hit me up at the right time. Timing was perfect, okay?
Oh, now Melissa came up with a great topic, and we both need this topic. That's all I'm saying on that. But listen. When you talk about first breaking up, then you're adding co-parenting into it. Then you're moving into how do you get past the breakup? How do you deal with the co-parenting? All of the emotions that come into play, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And we've seen on the news now, if you guys really watch the news, there are did you hear about the lady that burned her husband up in bed 3 days ago?
Whoa. What'd he do? Damn.
According to the news report, now this is based on the news report, she was on medication. She stopped the medication. She was hanging out in her basement. Her husband could not get her to start back taking her medication. He felt he couldn't deal with it anymore. So he told her, listen, I don't think this is going to work. So I think it's best that we go our separate ways. Later that night, when he was laying in bed, she took a cup of lighter fluid, threw it on his face, covered his head, and lit him on fire.
Holy moly.
Then told the police that she just wanted to send a message. She wasn't trying to kill him.
What? On his head, not his feet.
On his head.
That's not a message, sweetheart. That's death. Okay? His life is over. Wow. That's crazy, but that is scary that, people don't take the meds that they're supposed to be on, and then they just do some things that are just like, what? But they wouldn't have done it if they were, on that medication. So I know sometimes people don't like the way it makes them feel. I know I take 2 every single day, and Melissa got to take them because Melissa might be burning people. Okay? So, y'all, I know sometimes, you don't always like the feeling of them, and maybe you should go talk to your psychiatrist and see, what you can do to switch things. There's so many different types of medicines to treat the same thing, but, one thing may not do what you need it to do. You need to, up your dosage, lower it, switch brands, whatever the case may be. But please, people, speak to your psychiatrist, your therapist, anybody that is prescribing you, your doctors, that medicine. Don't just stop taking it, because this is what happens. Things like this can happen, and they do happen so consistently. Like, that's scary.
It is. It's scary. I mean, I don't know if it was just, I don't know if a lot of relationships really made it through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, I mean, like, people are breaking up for some of the stupidest reasons now. And
yeah,
do I want to really get into this? Trying not to bring up old memories here. Okay, I'm gonna dive a little bit in.
All right.
When we talk about, let's do the breaking up part first. When you get into a relationship with somebody, we all have the expectation that this is going to be a successful relationship. Mm-hmm. We're going to build something together. We're going to make it work. Sometimes we see warning signs and we sort of ignore them.
Right.
Sometimes the relationships are just good, and sometimes relationships just seem to fall away. Sometimes people, the ideas they have in the beginning of the relationship just seem to kind of vanish along the way because people's feelings start to change. In some cases, people may cheat. People do things in relationship that cause the relationships to sever.
Absolutely.
Now, when a relationship gets to the point to where each person is starting to feel like they want to go their separate ways, you can tell when somebody's acting different. Like, I know if I'm dating a woman, like, okay, something's not right.
Right. That's good that you can pick up on that.
Yeah. And the hard part is when that person tries to pretend like there's nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, everything's fine. What are you talking about? Like, no, something is wrong. You know when a person doesn't touch you the same, they don't talk to you the same, communication is not there, or they just stop being there for you the way they should be there for you.
Right.
So when people break up, emotions start to arise. Then when there's kids involved, that's a whole nother element.
Good grief. You never lie. It's interesting that you say, when people, when somebody doesn't want to be with this person anymore and they're showing the signs, but it's good that somebody else can pick up. They're like, you know what? We got to have this conversation. What I think is not good is when somebody may express, hey, I don't think this is working. I don't want to do this anymore. And they're showing the signs. Then you have that other person on the other side in complete denial. And they're like, I'm not going anywhere. That's when things get like really, really interestingly crazy. Y'all hear my little nervous laughter because, that was, I've been there. So listen, Hal, this isn't going to work. I'm not going anywhere. Okay. It's getting a little scary in here. What kind of Lifetime/BET movie is this about to be? Oh my gosh. It's something. Breaking up is not easy. Like, from either end, I feel like, whether you're the person that's doing the breaking up with or you're the person that got broken up with, I think it sucks all around. Unless, you have found a whole nother, partner or something, and you're like, I'm just going to go live my best life, then I guess it really didn't suck for them. But I feel like sometimes they feel bad later down the line. But, breaking up really sucks. Oh my gosh. And just trying to, navigate first how you're going to go about this. If you're the person, breaking up with the person, like, what is it that's so bad that I feel like I can't work this out with this person? Because, so many times people will make, you know, like you said, you'll see warning signs, but you'll try to, oh, I can get past this, or, they'll change, or I'll make excuses for why they're like this, or, maybe it's my fault that it went this way. And I felt all of those at some point in time. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my fault, or I should have done this differently. Like I felt all of those. But to also be on the other side, like, to be broken up with, and you're like, well, shoot, what could I have done differently? How can we make this work? It's it definitely sucks. I mean, either way, and so many thoughts and feelings and all that go into having to make that decision and having that happen to you, and what you gotta, you know, I go through after the breakup, like depending
Mm-hmm.
on, how things are for you and that person, how good it was, how bad it was. I don't know. Some people, they are messed up for weeks, days, months, whatever the case may be. Some people, they just go out on a spree with others. They say the easiest way to get over somebody is to get under somebody, which is not healthy to
No.
do. Let me just put that out there. That usually does not end well, but
Mm-mm.
in some cases, some might, but I don't see that. I haven't. It might for somebody. I don't know, but just the different things you got to do to just cope with this breakup. I mean, whichever end that you were, receiving, or the giver, I guess, of the breakup. But there, you gotta do different things to cope with it. Like, I mean, like how I was talking about dealing with trauma. I mean, a breakup can be a form of a traumatic experience for some. So you just have
Exactly.
to make sure that you have different coping mechanisms to be able to get through this breakup, so that you don't, go into a deep depression that you can't get out of, or you don't fall under, behind on work or something, or you begin to neglect yourself and your children, or you stop to take your medication, or any of those things. So, just make sure you find what works for you that is healthy and productive. Do some things for yourself. I know a lot of people, they like to be in relationships, whether it's good or bad, because they don't like to be by themselves.
Ooh.
And it's just, it's a crazy thing that you see so many relationships that are so awful, and you wonder, why did this person stay for as long as they have? And it's because they don't want to be alone. And you just got to really find that time with yourself, and love being with yourself. Love yourself. Do things for yourself. Like, I do so much for, my kids, of course, because I have to and because I want to. And I was doing so much for, their father. And I didn't really have too much that I did for myself. I have my work, and that was fun, of course, and it's something that I wanted to do, but I didn't really do too many activities for me. Like, I went to Orlando back in April because I needed to get away. Okay. And I think since I've been back, I might go for a drive every once in a while for a long time. I'm not talking like a 20-minute drive. Like, I'm going to another state. Okay? But I didn't make it consistent. So, when my breakup happened, I'm trying to think, oh gosh, I'm a mess, and this and that, and I could have did this different, or I should have saw that. And I'm like, wait, hold up, stop it. Stop it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get yourself together and go figure out something that's gonna make you happy
Yeah.
by yourself. Okay? What is that? And for me, that's just listening to music and turning my AirPods to the max. I don't want to hear nobody talk to me unless it's an emergency. You got to be bleeding. Somebody got to be breaking in. Don't talk to me. Use sign language. Use some hand signals. Write it down. Don't talk to me for this few minutes that I need to myself, I need it every single day. And I have made that a habit that I am not letting up for nobody. I put my phone on do not disturb. Don't talk to me. Don't do it.
See, you make some great points, especially like the coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me, for a while, it was like if I went through a bad breakup, and I know people say men don't feel the same as women do when it comes to a breakup.
That's a lie.
Yeah, we just do it. We probably do it the same. I think we do things the same, and maybe just a little different.
A little different.
Yeah.
But y'all still have feelings.
Yeah, we still hurt. We
exactly.
do. We hurt. It's just that we don't let our pride show. We're not going to show you.
Exactly.
We're going to walk out talking crap, but as soon as we get in that car, we're popping some Mary J. Blige. I'm not going to cry.
Right. The ultimate breakup song.
Yeah. That whole Waited to Exhale soundtrack.
Okay.
So coping, some of the flaws I made was I would turn to music that was sad. I would watch, breakup movies,
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to find something that you can relate to, and often we will go to something that sort of hits the negative side of coping with the situation.
Right.
That kind of stir up more negative feelings
Exactly.
instead of finding something that kind of gives us in a positive space, gives us a positive outlook. Any movie about breaking up, any movie like for a man, any movie where the man is beating up, is not physically beating up the women, but the man is like in control. Like, I'm in control of my life now. I watch Rambo. So it's just the coping mechanisms you choose, you got to make sure that it's something positive, because if you don't, you're going to stay in a negative mindset, and you're not going to be able to clear all of that negative noise out, and you're going to be constantly dwelling on, if like Melissa said, like, okay, was it my fault? Could I have done something different? Why did this happen? Did I do this? Why that other person is slowly recovering, starting to move on with their life.
Right.
2 years down the road, you still trying to figure out what happened.
Yes, and that's not going to make you feel any better. That will make you feel worse. You're just sitting there, feeling sorry for yourself, having a pity party. They done moved on. They're living their best life. And then you're like back at square one, or, you're underneath square one, because you're like, oh my gosh, I did all this moping and they're just happy? Oh, God, no. How dare they? But it's natural, of course, to, go to that sad playlist or those sad movies. And I know immediately after my breakup, I did have to, mourn my relationship, I guess. It's over. This is it. And we have 2 kids together, but, it's not gonna work. But I'm sad about it. So I took a couple of minutes to, just sit there, and I'm like, man, this really sucks. But I could not stay there. I feel like sometimes it can be maybe not unhealthy, but it may not be the best to just you break up and then you just say, all right, to hell with it, I'm gonna go do whatever. But then, sometimes you just got those feelings in the back of your head, I never did slow down and stop and think about this. You may not get that closure from that person, but, at least you have that moment to yourself, and then you can get some closure within you. Okay, I did everything that I could, or maybe I didn't do everything I could. I can do better my next relationship. Take that time, not too much time, of course, but, to, if you need to reflect on, what was not, what you wanted it to be, but you got to, of course, keep going. You cannot stay there. And I did need a second to mourn my relationship. It's not what I thought was going to happen. I didn't see things going that way. Well, actually, you know what? I did have a part of me that did believe that it would go this way. Actually, I'm tripping. But I didn't want it. What you believe will happen and what you want to happen are not always the same things. But I definitely have a playlist on my phone that I intentionally made in the event that I do catch myself slipping. I'm like, oh gosh, man, I wish this was like that and we could, or, the memories on my timeline or my phone pop up and I'm like, oh hell. But I have to have a pick me up. I have to have something that reminds me you've got to keep going. You did everything that you could this time. Like good grief. We've been on and off for 10 years. I know I did everything I could. So it is what it is. I cannot look back ever again. And I have to remind myself, and I got to listen to some music like Destiny's Child Survivor. I'm going to play that. Mary J. Blige, Just Fine. Get to singing Mary, Just Fine. Hey, I got to put on some good stuff and make myself happy and remember that you are a strong, independent Black woman. You got this.
There you go.
Yeah, it sucked. It did, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. I mean, sometimes things have to happen in order for you to be able to. Because I did wonder for a while we were broken up. Like, did I do everything that I could have done, or I know I didn't. There were certain situations where I know Melissa made it worse. Okay, the Melissa in the show that she gets a little crazy sometimes. That is real. Melissa in real life, who was she didn't know how to calm the situation down. She only made it worse. So I was like, this time around, just calm yourself down, just breathe. Remove yourself from the situation. Do what you got to do to keep yourself together. And I did that this time around. And it didn't work. So it is what it is. I don't have to have that thought in my head anymore. It's gone. I know it brings me comfort sometimes to know that I did everything I could do. And even if, it was before and I didn't go back and I didn't try it, I knew my heart was in the right place. So I should have let that bring me comfort, but I'm hard-headed and I did not. But my head ain't that damn hard. It's going to start bleeding after a while. So, I know that I did everything that I could. So it is what it is. And I'm moving on from that situation.
I mean, and I think you did the right thing. It's like, because sometimes we question ourselves so much that we start to question our confidence comes into play. We start to doubt our confidence, how we look, like, okay, well, maybe I'm not that attractive anymore. Maybe I should have, it's like all these things you start throwing at yourself.
Right.
And it's like, it really probably wouldn't have changed the outcome.
Exactly. Like, I be looking at Beyonce and Cardi B, they got cheated on and they look great and they have a lot of money. So, it happens. Not to say that was my situation that I got cheated on. We're not going to get into specifics, but that wasn't it. Oh, gosh. It's just, it can definitely cause you to think negatively about yourself and wonder. I know when we broke up, unfortunately, I was pregnant when we broke up a couple years ago. And, I'm with this baby and I already have a child and we're not together anymore. And I'm just starting to, well, shoot, am I ugly? Is it because I got fat from my pregnancy? Like, oh, gosh, I know it's because I'm crazy. It's because I'm crazy, right? Oh, gosh. And that sent me in such a downward spiral that it took me too long to get out of. That is a very big part of why I ended up going to therapy back in 2019, because it was just so many different things that just played a part in my downfall, if you will. And that was certainly a big thing that I would think, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Or what's wrong with me? Like, nothing. You're fine. I mean, yeah, you need to chill with your temper. You got to calm down. You have to calm down. But that wasn't it. That wasn't the reason that the relationship failed then. And it was hard for me to realize that. It took me a long time. And I told myself this time, I'm not going to let myself do that to myself again. I'm not going to think that way about myself because I know I am great. I don't need nobody to tell me that. But I do have reminders in my bathroom. So I'm sitting down in the bathroom and the wall right across from me. I do have, little reminders that I am beautiful. I am confident. I am able to do all things that I want to do. I'm powerful. I got little things hanging up there and in my mirror when I'm brushing my teeth, just as a reminder in the days that I feel like, I don't know about myself. No, we're not going to forget.
See, I think that's, relationships. I hate to say that relationships take work, but it takes two people that's really willing to understand each other.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times we get into relationships and our points of view, we feel like maybe more important than the other person's points of view or their beliefs or their morals or their values. And when you start questioning all that stuff, it just brings a lot of stuff into the relationship that sometimes brings in like resentment starts to build up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was talking to this lady at work and she was talking about her whole thing because we was this whole little podcast meeting group and she just put her business out there. I'm like, I don't do that, but okay, hey, you talking, I'll listen. But she was talking about how when her and her husband first got together, that everything was cool, because they were both struggling. And she said, I always believe that when you see a person at their lowest and you join with them when you both at your lowest, it makes you stronger. And I was like, I've heard people say that, but yes, when you see someone who's at their lowest and then, everything's, you guys are kind of on the same plate because you kind of have a need right now. Both of you are looking for convenience. Right. You're looking for that emotional support or that physical support. She said, but when he ended up getting money and become stable, he changed. And I was trying to explain to her, sometimes you can see a person and you can join together when you're both sort of in the struggle. And when one person becomes, say, like a little more stable in their life financially, their job, you got to see both sides.
Absolutely.
Because you can have a person that's, real humble when they don't have money, when they on the struggle and they on their grind. But once they become established, it's now kind of like, listen, you kind of holding me back.
Right.
So they starting labeling you as a weight and forgetting the fact that when they were struggling, you was there. Just because they came up a little bit faster than you did, now they're treating you different. So I was trying to get her to understand, like, you got to see both sides. You got to see both sides of a person. And often we see sides. I know, like I told Melissa a little bit about this, but I was seeing somebody and I thought she was cool. Everything was great. But, I didn't know she had a gambling problem. I was like, where is your money going? It was just always money. And then one day she was like, oh, I need some groceries. I was like, okay, but you just got paid. I don't mind helping somebody out that I'm with now. I'm down for that, Take care of my lady. But when it's like every week, I'm like, okay, something going on.
Right.
That's when I found out she had a gambling problem. Now.
That's rough.
I can work with you through your problems, but when your problem is putting a noose around my neck and choking me, unless you're willing to get some help and work through it, I can't deal with that. And that's the thing I look at when we get into relationships. A lot of people are in relationships. They don't realize that they're being choked. They don't realize that they're being, sort of suffocated because the other person feels like their needs are more important. It's about them.
True. So crazy.
It is. It is crazy. Like I said, relationships it's tough.
Work.
And you mentioned a good thing. You said closure. Like a lot of people can't get over a relationship because, they hate that person so much that they keep pursuing that person because they feel they haven't got the answer they wanted for closure.
Yeah.
They can't accept the fact that person simply said, I don't want to be with you.
Right.
It's like, that's not good enough.
That
Look
is
at me.
Such a good point. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I wonder. You brought up something that might actually hit the nail on the head because honestly, Reggie, not to get too deep into what I got going on here, but I wonder like why won't you just let this go? Like we tried for so many years and it isn't working. Yes, we have two beautiful children out of this, but why won't you let me go? And I wonder if, that is the case. He always says, Melissa, you were the only person to tell me no. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, anybody that I was involved with, they just said yes to whatever it is that I wanted, and you will tell me no. Yes, I'm going to tell you no. Yes, no. I don't know. I wasn't raised to just be a complete yes. Now I am all for, helping you and doing things for you. Like we do things for each other. We cooked for each other and make each other's plates. I wash clothes. He helps me fold. Like we do so much for each other, but it's not going to be I'm doing all of everything for you, like, because we both work. So it's not like you're here paying all the bills. So why should I have to do all of one thing, like, or all of the household responsibilities or take care of the kids by myself? Please tell me where we divide everything equally. So why would it stop with the money? Why would we not carry that on? So
that's a good point.
Yeah, we gonna split this. Okay, here's half the clothes. Let's go. Oh God, and it took a long time for him to, to hop on board, but he did. But there was still something there that I just could not get through. Like, sometimes people do have issues and problems, and I know I went through a really bad depression. Found out I was bipolar in January or February this year.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea. I just thought that I just overreact sometimes and I get a little crazy. But turns out, no, Melissa, you have a chemical imbalance going on here. So we're going to start you on a couple of things and see what works. And I was very fortunate to have him help me through that. But I was willing to seek out the help and I was willing to do the work. So when it came time for, whatever it is he's going through, he don't want to get no help. He doesn't want to do what it takes for him to get better. He just, I don't know if he thinks that it's just going to magically be okay or, I'm going to be here and let him do whatever it is he wants to do. Like, it's just not going to work like that anymore. I let go. And I said, I don't know what it is, but that sounds like that could be it, Reggie. Just, what you said there. I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah, because I know with some guys, it's hard when you're being told no. Or actually, it's backwards. A lot of guys, when they meet women that always say yes, 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 and they get to that one that says no, it's like, ooh. I like this. I don't know how to deal with this because it's a strength that you're kind of probably not used to seeing. Because I know, like, I could not date a woman who's always yes, whatever you want to do. Yes, whatever you like. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, some people it's like closure's a big thing. It's like how do you like sometimes you can't explain closure.
Yeah.
It's like listen, I used to love you. But now those feelings just aren't there. It just isn't working. And for some people, it's like, but why?
Yeah.
So and it's like they can't go. They can't get past that.
That is, yeah. That's unfortunate, and I feel bad that some people can't get past that because that sounds like it probably eats away at somebody. They're just like sitting there spending so much time wondering why and they're not getting an answer and they may continue to try to pursue this person. They're like, no, is it no? And that just, I feel for people that go through that situation. I really do. Because if that other person has moved on, or they're, in the process of moving on, and then this other person is just trying to, put together something that I guess isn't supposed to work, or it's not going to work today. It's just, it's interesting to see, oh gosh, how relationships go or how people navigate after a relationship is over. Or gosh, I've had a couple relationships since I've become a parent, but once you break up, you break up, for me anyway. I mean, I'm still cool with pretty much all of my exes, like I have ever had in my life. Like they're fine. We don't have any issues, but initially I gotta let you go. Like I have to block you until I don't feel like this anymore. That's just me. I don't want to see you nowhere. I don't want to hang out. I don't want to talk to you. Let me get through this, and then we'll be fine. And there's usually a time that comes around and we'll be fine. But now, I got kids with this one. So speaking of the devil, he's calling me now. Not now. Oh gosh, I will always have love for him. I will always want nothing but the best for him. We have 2 kids that I just think are just the cutest little things I've ever seen. And they have his face, and they have some of my features, but they're his face, and they have a little bit of both of us, and it's just of course I will always be grateful for you, but good grief, I don't want to do this again. Like, it's been a long time that we've tried, and it is what it is. It's not gonna work. I wish that we could just be cool and be able to have a conversation about the kids, and maybe we'll say, hey, how's your day, or something like that. But in my case, in my situation, it can't go like that. It just, I say, hey, how's your day, when am I coming home? What? I just said, how was your day? Like, what are you talking about? You make it really difficult. And because, of course, I didn't want the relationship to end. It was something that brought us here. It wasn't because I didn't love you. It's because there was something wrong that needed to be corrected, but it wasn't. And I have to keep going. I got to move on. I got 2 kids that I have to, be here for. They live with me full time. So, I mean, what else am I going to do? Just let you bring me down? You can't. You cannot. Not just for myself, but for them. So, we have moments where I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I could just block you like I did other people, so I could just, move on with my life. But unfortunately, it is not that simple.
No. When there's kids involved, oh, this is a touchy one for me. Because with my ex-wife, we had a kid. And that was just a nasty. Now, that did end because of cheating. Not me, her. And I even tried to reconcile even after the cheating.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, let's see if we make this work. Because my mind was, there's a child involved. There's a daughter.
Exactly.
She needs help. She needs 2 parents. And for me, it was more like she wouldn't let me see the child, wouldn't let me interact with the child. And then it was just the whole thing of the bickering between the 2 of us. Is like a simple phone conversation just turns something like, hey, can I speak to Brianna? Oh, no. Let's go. God. Okay, here we go. Bitch. Like,
it just gets insane.
It does.
It gets so crazy. I'm the one that I just want to have the conversation about the kids, for the love of God. I promise you, I don't want to talk about anything else. Now, if you are having a moment and you feel like you need to talk to somebody, because prior to our relationship, we were friends. He was my very best friend for years. And I just never saw us getting together. Good grief. No. But, it happened. And he has times where he feels like he wants to talk to his best friend. I'm like, I can dig it. I've had moments where I want to talk to my best friend, but It's not like that anymore, unfortunately. Like, I can't just talk to you and talk you through whatever it is you're going through without you just coming out of nowhere. So we're going to get back together, right? No, we're not. Okay? But what makes it really, really, really like I'm going to punch you in the face is when he wants to bring stuff up and our children can hear. Now, the baby, she's only 2. She doesn't know what's going on. My son will be 8 next month, and he has been a sharp one for quite some time. He knows what's going on. You cannot ask me, when can I come home? I want to be there. Da 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 da. And my son is right there. We can't do that. We're not doing that.
No.
And what you really, really, really not going to do is ask my son to ask me, when can daddy come home or when can y'all get back together? Because you should never, ever, ever put your kids in that position. I cannot stand when parents do that. That is so sickening to me.
I can't stand that.
And it's unfortunate. Like, my parents did that to me during their divorce. I mean, they did that to all of us, but I really was like the middlest of the middle children. Like, if there was ever a definition for middle child, there would be my picture sitting right there. Because, I had my older sister, my younger brother. I'm smack down in the middle. My older sister, dad, they were together. That's her favorite. Younger brother, mom, that always together. Then there's just me. All right, I guess I'm playing by myself today. I mean, it is. That's fine. So, I want to get along with everybody. They go through their divorce. They're passing messages back and forth through me. And I'm like, I just want to eat. Like, who's going to buy me the better food? Like, I mean, I'll send the message, but it comes with a cost. Because I started to have to work it out the way I felt that was best. Because I was like, this isn't right here, but they're not going to stop doing it. So let me play this game my way. But, I just always thought that was so wrong for them to do. And now that I'm a parent, gosh, that just drives me crazy. I cannot stand that. But sometimes you got that other person that just wants to be so childish and selfish. That's just such a selfish thing. Like, that's a shame.
It is. To you, I mean, because using your child as a pawn in your relationship to try to maneuver your way back in or to get information, that's one, is putting your child in a bad spot, because sometimes they can say something like that and you know where it comes from, but your reaction may be towards that person, but your child may catch the blunt of that reaction until you catch yourself.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So it's like parents should not do that. Do not use your child against the other parent. And, it's like if you're with somebody and they said, listen, we're taking a break, we're breaking up, whatever. The thing about that is you pushing is not going to make the situation better.
At all.
It's not going to. It's going to make that person feel like you're getting on my nerves even more. Like,
absolutely. That's how I feel.
It doesn't help because it's like you're now getting on my nerves. We can't even have a civil conversation when kids are not going to start growing. This is for all the parents out there. Mm-hmm. Your kids are not going to stop growing and stop needing. You still have to provide for them. So regardless of how you feel about the woman or the man, when that conversation needs to come up about what the kids need, school, medical, stuff like that, clothes, address that, deal with that. Keep all your feelings out of that conversation.
Right.
Save that for another day. Send an email. Just,
right.
But don't make it awkward that when you're reaching out to that other parent to where you feel like you're having to pressure them. Like, you need me, when like you were saying, like when I'm coming home, what's the problem? What's the big deal? If we're not together, there's a problem. So this is a great time for you to sit back and say, okay, how can I address what the issues are with me? Mm-hmm. Because if I cannot fix my emotions, if I cannot fix my thoughts, my issues, my relationship is not only going to sort of, fall more apart with the person that I was with that I want back. If I meet somebody else, I'm just going to be repeating the same loop.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next woman, the next man is going to say the same thing. Get out of my house. You're crazy. I don't want to deal with you.
Right. Like, I just don't understand how people, don't see that. And even your relationship with your kids. Like, I see this meme on Facebook all the time, and they said the older kids get, they see who, the problem parent was. And I never want to come across to, either one of my kids, but I have, I guess, kind of adult related conversations with my son. Like, he's getting older now. I don't feel like I have to hide everything from him anymore. And I'm be honest with you. This is what's going on, son. Like, for the longest time, I didn't. I made up excuses. I would, say, well, this is happening because of that. And he'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. You're right. It doesn't make any sense. This is what's happening. And it's not because your dad doesn't love you. It's not because, he hates me, because he doesn't. It's just, this is how it is for right now until he wants to, work on himself. And I'm like, I talk to him and I say, not my son, but, their father, you're going to affect your relationship that you have with your children. And he has other children outside of me before we got together. So it's, you have so many people that are looking up to you, and you really have to work on you and how you deal with things and how you talk to people and how you react, because it's not going to just affect me. Like, you're not hurting me anymore. We're not together, so you can't hurt me. But if you hurt my kids, that does hurt me. And I'm telling you, my hands, they cannot always control themselves, and I've been working on that. But don't you hurt my kids. Oh, gosh, no. What you do when they're adults, and if they want to, talk to you how they want to talk to you themselves, that's up to them. But as they are minors, I'm talking for them. And my talking may not always be talking, so get yourself together. That's why I go to therapy, okay? Oh, gosh.
No, but that's understandable, though.
Mm-hmm.
That is completely understandable. I mean, it's like
people really gotta think about their kids. I mean, and themselves. Like, what do you want for you? Like, I when we broke up, back in 2019, 2018, I don't know. It was. I would think about, our relationship and how it went bad and everything like that, and how, oh gosh, I must suck and all that. And then I was like, I have to get myself together. And I got to think about, how my bad thoughts can affect my kids, how it can, rub off on them. I don't ever want them to feel bad about themselves and feel like they aren't worth anything, or, that they're ugly, because they are some nice looking kids, let me tell you. So I just said I have to get my life and think positive about myself and let them know that, mommy thinks that she's great because she is. And mommy also thinks you guys are great because you are. Mm-hmm. And I was like, who gonna want me if I'm talking crazy about myself like this? Like, it's just, oh my gosh, the people that want people like that, not to say that nobody does, but a lot of times that's how you end up finding somebody controlling and somebody who's, just going to look down on you because they feel like they can, they're better than you because they found you at your weak spot when you just think the worst of yourself. Yep. So I was like, I have got to get it together, not just for me, but for them, for whoever my future partner is. I do not want to attract the wrong kind of person because of whatever it is going through in my mind. And I say that to him, like, you have got to work on you in so many different ways because you don't want to attract the wrong type of people into your life, because he's done that before, and it was awful. It was awful after we broke up the first time, and I said, this is what you want. But that's just where he was at, mentally after our very first breakup, and that's just who he attracted, and good grief, I couldn't stand her. But it just, you gotta work on you. You don't want to attract the wrong kind of people, and you don't want to have your kids, viewing you a certain type of way. Like, I mean, I know I wouldn't. I know anybody that is a parent that I know personally wouldn't. They want their kids to, continue to look at them like they're the hero. My son always tells me, "Mommy, you're a superhero." I'm like, "Oh God, son, you right, thank you." And I don't ever want to give him a reason that I am not. I mean, yes, there's going to be some times where, mommy's upset, mommy's got something going on, but mommy's going to get back up. Mommy's going to rise again because, yes, mommy is a superhero, all right? Even Clark Kent has some bad days. Superman be going through it, but he gets back up again. Except for that one issue. I think he died, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But for the most part, Superman gets back up. And that's just what I want for, their dad. Like, even though we're not together, like, I don't wish anything bad on him. I continue to pray for him. It may not be as consistent as it was when we were together, and I have to work on that. But I still make time to, pray that he's happy, that he's healthy, that he's financially stable, that he can do all that he can for himself and his children. Because I know if he's good, my kids will be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never have to worry about, what might have happened when they went over there, because I know that he's in a good state of mind and he's not going to let anything happen to them. But if he's in a bad state of mind, anything can happen, and you just don't want that. So I tell him all the time, please go to somebody's therapy, counseling, please.
Yeah, I think people underestimate, or they got the wrong impression about counseling or therapy, because like I said, we've been through some relationships, and because I've dated a woman that was really nice, but we just didn't work. And the thing about it was like, as much as you want the best, like I wanted the best for her, like I wanted her to, have a great life. I actually wanted her to meet somebody to where, because she was a good person, where she would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, with her, it's like, do you really want to be happy? Or are you just looking for comfort? Because some people, they get in the mindset of, I don't want to start over. I want what's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know my craziness. You know my issues. So why do I got to start over? Why are we starting over? They want to use that as an excuse to stay with somebody who probably doesn't want to be with them. It's like, well, listen, we know each other. You're comfortable. You know me. Come on. You know I get up every night and pour syrup all over the bed and then we sleep. So what's the problem? People feel like you should be comfortable with their situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't consider the fact that it's like, listen, you have to get some help.
Mm-hmm.
Because your situation is just not livable.
No.
It's not livable for me. It may not be livable for the kids. The whole house situation. So actually getting counseling, marriage counseling, whichever one you want to do, but getting that outside person to kind of help you look within yourself, to kind of sort out all of those building blocks that are all over the place. You need that. You need that structure in your life to kind of help you put things back together. It doesn't mean that you're crazy or you're a bad person. Sometimes we lose control of our own inner self.
Mm-hmm.
And we become our own worst enemy, especially in relationships. So you need somebody to kind of help put you on the right road, to get your road back together so you know where you're going. You really know who you are. And you get to the point to where, like, listen, I can be happy being me, and I know what it takes to make me happy. Instead of like, and I know for men do that. I'm not men. I know I'm always team men, but I got to call us out on this one. One thing that we as men are bad about is when we do go through a breakup, it's like, I need to find another woman to sleep with to make me feel better. Strip club. You look for that false sense of encouragement, that false sense of, oh, okay, I can talk to this beautiful woman. She don't have no clothes on. Now I feel good about myself. but it's a temporary thing. And she's only going to sit there in your lap and talk to you as long as you got money coming out that wallet. When the money is gone, she is gone. And so is that sense of feeling good about yourself.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of be mindful of that. It's just getting help can help you to deal with the situation to where it doesn't cost you money. You know, to where you're wasting money and with somebody who don't want to be with you in the first place. You know, you're not living in a fantasy world. You're not being unrealistic about the ideas. Or sometimes we're just unrealistic about the status of a relationship. And we really just focus on like, oh, we should be together. And that's just not the case. You know, because sometimes after the breakup, you need that breakup to really work on you.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are. They don't know who they are as an individual. Like if you ask them, what do you want to be happy? Oh, if I could just have a good friend, a nice vacation, you know, I'll be happy. Then when you get that, you're not happy.
Right.
You know, if I just had a woman, I'll be happy. You got a woman, you ain't happy.
That is so true. That's yeah, I feel like he just didn't want to be happy. I know when I was going through my thing and I just, you know, we didn't find the right balance for what I needed with the, you know, the bipolar and it's depression, the bipolar depression. So he was like, you have so many great things and you got this and that and you just don't is ever going through anything like that. I really feel for you because it's crazy. I mean, any type of depression, but this bipolar thing was something I never saw coming. Mm-hmm. So he was supportive, but at the same time, he just didn't understand, you know, what exactly I was going through. And he would say, you know, you just don't want to be happy. And I'm like, I do. I'm working on it. Just give me a minute, okay? So I finally got my life right, you know, but I was where I wanted to be. And I don't know. I guess I got it together. He wanted to fall off. I said, but wait a minute. Now, hold on, sir. So, but because that is something that has happened with him a lot of times before, and you know, he finally got what he wanted. He has a successful business, very successful business. And, you know, he got his family back as he's been asking for some time. And he's got the freedom to do whatever he wants. And he had a side income. Like, he had some really great things going for him. And he just still wasn't happy. And I was like, I mean, what was you saying about me? Like, I know that I was going through something, but I was going to see people about that. Like, I saw my therapist every other Sunday, and then I saw my psychiatrist every other Friday. So I was working on me consistently, and then I was doing different things to try to, you know, get my mind off of wherever it was going to, you know, my different coping mechanisms. And I had to try, you know, it was trial and error, but I put in a lot of work to be able to get to where I'm at today. So it just wasn't I don't want to be happy. No, I was sad. But I every day I tried to do what I could do, be productive so that I could be happy. When it came time to, you know, him to go through what he went through, I never saw him try to be productive like I haven't seen in the past. And I said, well, what are you going to do to make you, like, because you got this, and that, and this is what you said you wanted. So you have it. So what else can you do to make yourself happy? What can you do? And the things he wanted to do just weren't good. So I was like, well, shoot, I don't know what to tell you. I got to go. Actually, you got to go. It's my name on the lease. Get out. But it's just I don't know. Some people really don't want to be happy, and they really do sit there and they say that they want this, and that to be there. And you know, you look at different celebrities and famous people, and they just work so hard to, you know, get all this money, and then, you know, a lot of them end up doing all these crazy drugs because they still not happy. They have all these people around. They could have, you know, whatever pick of man or woman or man and woman that they want, and then sometimes they're just still not happy on the inside because they never really sat and took the time to figure out what is truly going to make me happy. This material stuff, isn't it? Me having, this nice looking person on my arm, isn't it? What's going to make me happy? And it is, I guess, like you said, some people do need to know themselves and able to figure out what it is going to make them happy. Like, you might be changing. Like, the person you are in 2008 may not be the person you are in 2021. You got to reintroduce yourself to yourself sometimes. So,
exactly.
Got to relearn you. And the things that might have made you happy back then may not make you happy right now. And you might be going off of, oh my gosh, I know this is it. I figured it out, but I'm still not happy. Well, then you don't have it figured out. You did back then for who you were then, but now you got to go figure out who you are today and figure out what's going to make you happy today.
Exactly. Because I think about, like, if you would have asked me when I was in my 20s, what type of woman you going to marry, I could have gave you a full description. I mean, from the hair to the eyes to the height. I mean, the full layout. Oh, yeah. I already knew. I knew who I was going to marry. Well, I knew the physical part of who I was going to marry.
Right.
But as I got older, okay, so that hair down to the neck thing, okay, let's erase that. Okay, let's erase the whole eye thing. Okay, the cheek thing, let's erase that too. Lips, let's erase that too. Because I came to realize that when you're younger, you do have like a little more visual about the person you're with. When people ask me now, it's like, oh, well, what type of woman you're looking for? It's like, oh, I'm not, and they always say, like, you want a tall, you want short, you like thick. I'm like, I want a heart.
Right.
I'm looking for how she's going to treat me and how we treat each other. That's what matters to me. Because you can have somebody that looks like Kalita Smith or Halle Berry or Beyonce, and you can go home and be miserable, despite the fact that everybody's saying, "Oh, you got a good looking woman. Your woman look good." Yeah, but will you take her, please? So I learned that happiness in a relationship is really more about how does that person treat you and how do they make you feel? What are they bringing to the table? Now, I always get slammed for this little quote I got, but for me, like I said, y'all, for me personally, it's true. Now, it could apply either way, men or women, but I would say if they're not bringing more to the table than a maid or a prostitute, then I'm not interested. Because I can clean myself. I can hire somebody to clean.
Right.
And sex you can get and pay for, get whatever you want and do whatever. But to have somebody that really understands you emotionally, that when you are down, that they can, sit beside you without judging you or criticizing you. When you feel like I need somebody to kind of lift me up, they can do it. And they don't feel like, oh, God, here we go again. She needs to be pepped up. What you want me to say? But having that person that's willing to take the time to get to know you, to observe you. And I tell people the best way to look at somebody that's really interested in you is they pay attention to the things you look at and never speak about. But it may be a holiday or a birthday or just because you may come home and find that sitting on the kitchen table. You may find that meal, or you may end up going to that restaurant because they pay attention. It's the small things, not the big things. The small things show that a person is really detailed and interested in you. Taking somebody to Hawaii or the Fiji Islands, which I would love to go, is nice. But I think when it comes to relationships, a lot of times we miss out on the small things and we assume that happiness is the image that's portrayed. Like right now, everything is an image. It's an image. We see Instagram, we see all this stuff on social media, and most relationships are an image. We see Beyonce and Jay-Z, and we say, and Cardi B is like, oh my God, look at that. That's what a relationship is. No, it's not. That's an image. They're showing you what they want you to see. Behind closed, when Instagram is off, they may be sleeping in separate rooms.
Yeah.
So it's really about happiness is finding that person that you guys have a good common understanding of each other, and you're not judging each other. You're not critical of each other. And you got the same values. You're allowing each other to grow. And you're respectful of that. You know, and if you decide that you're going to break up, just try to be honest and not do the whole, you know, it's not you, Melissa, it's me. You know, people, it's like, just be honest and don't drag somebody along.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people just, people don't want to put the time into relationships. They just want, they want the microwave thing.
Yes.
You know, it takes time.
It does. Like, getting to know somebody, you're not going to know somebody in just a day, a week. Like, they go through different things. Like, there's this meme that I was trying to find because you said something that made me like, yes. It was like, you know, you want to see how somebody is when they're broke, when they have money. You want to see how somebody reacts to stress or trauma, you know, when they're sad or when they're happy. Like, you want to see somebody in all seasons of their life before you're like, okay, you know, this is definitely my person. Like, it might be cool when they're, you know, they're broke or when they're up. But, you know, when things flip, they may not be so cool. Oh, gosh. So you definitely need to see people in all seasons. And, you have to have somebody that is, like you said, going to be respectful and not criticize and be judgmental, because that, you know, you could have somebody that does all of the other things that, you know, are on your list, but you have an idea, you know what, I'm going to start this business, or I'm going to start to take this class, or I'm going to, you know, change my religion, or whatever the case may be. And then you got this person saying little slick stuff on the side every time you, like, it's really not a good feeling. And then they criticize everything you do every time you frying some chicken. You're not doing that right. You go over there to make the mashed potatoes. This isn't okay. You go over there to make the cornbread. That looks funny. Like, no, get out of my kitchen. That is going to bother you. And that is going to also mess with your confidence and self-esteem. Like, I've been there also with, you know, we've been through a lot of seasons. And every time we got back together, we always said it was like a completely different relationship because we grew. Each time we got back together, we learned from the last part, but it just still wasn't enough to keep us together. But it was definitely different. But he used to be so critical of everything that I did. Like, if I could cook, and I know I can cook, and anybody that knows me knows I can cook, but he can also cook. But it isn't better than me. But I will say, it does taste good. But, you know, I would always try to rush to make food before he even came home. Or if I know he's going to go to sleep, I'm going to try to make food real quick because I don't want him to come in the kitchen, stand over my shoulder and say something. Because it always made me feel some type of way. Or back when I used to have my weaves and I'm trying to, you know, put my weaves in, he would stand over me like, no, you're not doing that right. So I would always do my hair when he wasn't around because I was like, I don't need him to make me feel like this. Like, it's not a good feeling to, you know, be judged and criticized in your own home. That's supposed to be your comfort place. It's going to be your safe space. You want to make sure that the person that you're with is not trying to tear you down in your own space. So, wait a minute, I pay bills here. You're not going to be coming from my neck. Wait a minute. Go outside and do that. Do that on the sidewalk. Back off.
No, but you're right. I mean, and you make a really good point. It's like, if you're in a relationship and you come home and there is no peace, that is, when you want to stay at work longer because you don't want to go home, that's not good. And I've been in that situation. I've actually was like taking 3 hours to get home.
Me too.
You did that too?
I did.
I did not want to go home. I honestly didn't. I would rather stay at work or be stuck in traffic. I used to leave during rush hour intentionally because there was more peace in my car on the ride home in rush hour than it was in the house.
And that is awful. I did the same thing. My boss would be like, Melissa, you were supposed to leave an hour and a half ago. I was like, well, I just wanted to make sure that this was right because, when I come in tomorrow and then I'm like, go home. I got this. Wait, no, because I got it. When in reality, I don't want to go back home. He crazy. Not even crazy. It's just I know we about to argue. I know he's going to say something and either I'm not going to be in the mood or I'm going to go to my mom's or we going to argue. I got to have peace.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants, especially when you coming home from work. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is argue.
Right.
That's the last. Because I think people need rules. It's like for me, if I'm in a relationship and I call her, I am never going to call her at work complaining or, oh, you said you're going to take my shirt to the dry cleaners on your way to work. You left it here. Like, why would I do that? Because I don't know the type of day she's having. I should be supportive. When she comes home, I should be greeting her, like welcoming her, like, oh, you're home, you saved, you need anything, you want some bath water, you want your clothes. That's the stuff you should be doing. Like her coming to the door, and first thing I'm doing is I'm mad about a pair of shoes she bought. It's like people got to really think about the timing that you do things in relationships. And especially when you got kids, your kids see more than what you probably think they do.
This is so true.
Yeah, and they see it, and they're kind of noticing the things that's going on, and they know when mom and dad are lovey-dovey one day, and the next day mom is slapping pans on the stove and dad is slamming doors. They know that ain't a band playing. They know what's going on.
That is so true. And I think for me anyway, I grew up with a family that was just not very affectionate at all. Like we just didn't, guys, you want a hug? What? Somebody died? So, my kid's father, he grew up in a family that was nothing but affectionate. They were very affectionate. They were very open with their feelings. So, it took me a long time to, I knew I wanted to be in a relationship. I knew that we could work, but just those things that you name, it took me a minute to be like, I got to think about, how his day was, or, when he comes home, he don't want to hear me complaining about nothing right now. Like he wants this or that, or, sometimes he'd be like, I want you to cook. And I'm like, I don't feel like it. He'd be like, okay, well, we ate out all week. So I'm just saying this one time, could you? I would, but I'm tired. So it took me a minute. And I know that I've spoken to a few other females, and we got to get that together, ladies. Like sometimes, we just want to be so, I'm Miss Independent and I don't need no man. And then we get a man and then we just don't always know how to treat a man. So, it goes both ways sometimes. The man can be tripping and so can a woman. We gotta, they do have feelings, okay? Regardless of what it may seem at times, they do feel some type of way about things. And just having those little small things like, the food's already ready. You ask how their day is doing. You run to the door and give them this big hug so they know that they feel loved and, have, they worked for something. It's not like they just went to work and just, did all of this and somebody doesn't appreciate what they did. Like they need to feel appreciated. So
that's true. Because I couldn't get a peanut butter sandwich out of mine, so I'm like, if you can make a peanut butter sandwich, we getting married.
Oh my gosh, you're hilarious. Not even the jelly, just the peanut butter.
Just the peanut. I'm telling you, when I used to come home, see, now that I'm sort of like independent with my own thing, I get to travel, which I love. Mm-hmm. But when I was had a 9-to-5 and I was married, I come home, if I didn't bring food home or if I didn't cook, there was nothing. It was going out to eat. Until I saw my friends, you go over their house and it's like, dang, it's like, where you get that? Oh, my wife cooked. Oh, women do that? I didn't know that was a part of the relationship deal.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so it's like, and it goes, like you said, it goes both ways. I think men can be a little more helpful. You mentioned something like he will help fold the clothes, help do dishes. Like, it has to be a joint thing. You can't put all that on one person. They're going to be drained.
It's so draining to have to do it all on your own. I mean, whatever it is, even if it's just work, like, sometimes whoever, man or woman, is the person that is the provider, that can be tiring at times. On your mind, like, everything's on you. You have to think about, like, if I don't go to work this day, I'm not going to get paid this and that amount, and I can't do this and that for my family. So, and then on the flip side, somebody's at home with the kids, or even if there are no kids, you're home doing everything. You're making all the appointments. You're doing all the laundry, doing all the clothes and the food and the grocery shopping. Like, sometimes you just don't feel like it. But if you don't do it, somebody's going to come home, and they need some underwear. You don't have any because you didn't wash any clothes. So it can be very draining to have to, do it all, and then you're not getting any help from the other side. So it definitely has to be a joint thing. I mean, unless you guys came to this agreement that this is what you want to do, and more power to you. I don't want that in my life, but good for you. I was actually offered that. He said, you can stay home and do everything, and I'll just go to work. I'm okay. Thank you. We're going to split this. Okay?
And see, because I've heard some guys say that. Like, you can stay home and I'll do everything. But I think some guys take that, it's not that they take advantage. It's like they don't understand the work that goes into it, especially when there's children involved.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, because when somebody says you stay home, I'll pay all the bills, you don't have to work, and you agree that person will stay home, but they seem to think like, okay, the kids get up, you feed them, they go to sleep for 7 hours, so by the time I come home, you cooked, everything is done, so you've had a whole 10 to 12 hours of your day to do nothing. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Man, say it again for the people in the back. That's not how it works.
That's not. Because when you got, especially like kids your age, you got the feeding, you got the diapers, you got the cleaning. They may not want to take a nap. They may not want to get up. You're trying to wash all the clothes. You're trying to clean the house. Not to mention if you got to go to doctor's appointments, you got to help with schoolwork, buying clothes, especially when a child has an off day to where I like, listen, today I'm raising hell. Mama, get ready. So it's a lot that goes into it. It's not a simple thing of people saying being a stay-at-home parent.
No, it's really not.
It's not. And that
I was under the impression it was. It's not.
It's not. And it can wear on a parent. I can see how it can wear on a parent mentally, because at some point a parent can start to feel like, okay, after a while it's like, oh, I'm bored, because certain things become routine.
Yeah.
So they need something else to sort of stimulate them intellectually. So it's not just change a diaper, put food on the table, prep lunch, get his clothes ready. Now, some people go crazy with it. It's like, if you staying at home, I need my clothes ironed, laid out on the bed, bath water ran. I need a menu for the food that you're going to prepare for me. When I get up in the morning, you need to have my clothes ready. You need to have my breakfast ready, standing at the foot of the bed with a cup of coffee like a butler.
Yikes.
So women, be careful when men say, you can stay at home and work and, don't have to work.
Yeah, you got to get it in writing. What exactly do you mean by that? Like, I need full details. What do you expect of me? Because I ain't your butler.
Exactly. And men, be careful, because if you get a divorce and she has not had to work because you told her not to work, just go ahead and start setting aside money for that alimony.
That is so crazy.
What did Eddie Murphy say? I want half.
That is so funny. I used to really believe, because, what was it? It was when we only had one, and he would say, you can stay home, because I was a blackjack dealer. I loved being a blackjack dealer, but I had to work overnight. I don't like that. I like to be asleep at 12 o'clock, midnight, okay? I don't want to be passing out no cards trying to figure out how to get to 21. But, I did. And he would say, you can stay home. I'll just, I'll take care of everything. And I would think about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And eventually, I did end up quitting because my job was about 40 minutes away. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, my eyes are just, I'm exhausted from trying to count. So, oh, gosh, even though it doesn't even sound exhausting, but, you just got all those eyes on you on that blackjack table, and you always got somebody trying to get over on you. And I'm like, ooh, I can't curse you out because I'm going to lose my job. So I did end up quitting, and I didn't work that summer. And I said, oh, my gosh, back to work. What do I got to do? And I went back. I said, this is not for me. Not to say that it's not going to be for me someday in the future. I doubt it, but I need that drive to be able to be by myself. I don't have to hear nobody ask me for anything. Nobody's questioning what I'm doing, why I didn't get it done, and then I like people. I'm a big people person, so I have to have that interaction with other people. And since the pandemic, I'm home because my son was home. And then right before the pandemic, of course, I decided to do my voiceover full time, and I'm home anyway. So now I'm home with these kids trying to do homework and potty train on top of trying to understand how to edit and add instrumentals in the background without it sounding crazy. I said, oh, Lord, this is an awful lot here. I can't do this again. Good grief. This was a lot. And he would come home sometimes and he was like, well, why didn't you make dinner? You didn't do anything all day. I'm going to my mom's. I'm not doing this with you. I didn't do anything all day. I didn't do anything. Oh gosh. One of the times I just need to shut up because Melissa's mouth gets a little crazy, and I didn't want to make it worse. So I said, I'm just going to go ahead to my mother's for a little bit. I'll be back. I'll be right back. Didn't do nothing all day. The lies he told.
That's because most people, they've never done it.
Exactly.
They never done it. And most people will go crazy the first 2 hours.
It's insane. And I just that day-to-day interaction with other people is what I guess I miss the most. And then on top of that, just being able to be by myself, like everywhere I went. All right, come on, guys, put your shoes on. Did you go to the bathroom? Oh my gosh, why did you poop right now? Oh my gosh, it's coming out your diaper. I wanted to just be able to grab my keys and go. But I could not for a year and some change. And I missed it. And my mind, like you said, I started to get bored and I would start to wander. Like my mind would just be like, oh, what's going on over here? What could I do, if I wasn't home, or what kind of trip could I go on? So next thing I know, I'm on hotels.com knowing I'm not going nowhere. Where am I going? And now the laundry didn't get done. Or I start doing the laundry and then another show that I'm watching comes on and I'm just stuck. I just got way too distracted way too easily after a while. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, nothing is getting done because I'm bored. I'm tired of doing this. And then when I do go into hyperactive, I'm going to clean like there's no tomorrow mode. Here come these kids right behind me. My daughter is like the Terminator in this apartment. She just like, good grief, I could fold everything. And she stares me in the face and she will knock everything over and she'll laugh at me. And I say, what? Why did you do this to me? Or my son, he gets 1,000 bottles of bottled water and somehow he doesn't put the top on. Next thing I know, he done spilled all this water all over papers I need and he's got stuff all over, I don't know, the floor, but there was already something sticky on the floor, so that didn't spread. And I'm like, I really thought I was getting somewhere. I did. Oh gosh, it's a lot. It is a lot. Kudos to all y'all that does it, full time. I just had to do it since the pandemic started, but my kids are at daycare and summer camp right now. So, that's over. And he stays in summer camp till school starts.
See, people don't understand. And that's trying on a relationship.
Yeah.
It's trying. It is. Relationships can be good when they're good, but they can be emotionally draining.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's sad when you wake up in bed and like, oh, why don't you leave?
Oh my gosh, yes. And when you start to feel that way, you got to start, wondering, well, why do I feel this way? And what my therapist suggested was that we take trips. So we started, made sure that we went out at least once a month. We would go, away for the weekend. And they were great. And they were much needed because I was ready to choke him out. That last trip we took, I said, oh my goodness, I don't even want to go. I was about to cancel the whole thing because I said, he is getting on my nerves. But it was very needed. So, anybody that's in, anything that, whether you guys both work or one stays home or whatever the case may be, make sure y'all take some time outside of y'all regular routine and go do something. If it's just dinner or a movie, go play mini golf. I love mini golf, so I get excited. Too. Yeah, mini golf is great. We went to go do mini golf. So, and it was very needed, but, things happen and it fell apart about a week later, but it's not because of the vacation. It's just because there's some things that just needed to be dealt with. But yeah, it can be draining on both ends, and everybody needs a break from routine here and there.
Yeah, and a lot of relationships turn into a business. Because you become so focused on the bills, you become so focused on jobs and work, that you forget that it's an actual relationship with love and feelings and emotions. Then it just turns into this whole thing of, okay, we got to pay this bill, we got to pay this bill. How much money you got? What we going to do with this money? How we going to split this bill? How we going to pay this? The kids need this. And it just creates this whole tension because your relationship is now business. You might as well be a bank. It's like it becomes more of a banking thing than a relationship because you're talking more about money and finances than you are about each other.
Yeah.
And like you said, date. People date. People stop dating.
Mm-hmm.
They don't date anymore.
I don't know why. Dates are fun.
Yeah, it's like date. Like you could be in a relationship and still have the same dates you had when you was trying to get the person.
Right. Don't stop just because y'all got to get no, go do something. It don't got to be, expensive steakhouse that you're about to go to. Go to the afternoon movies if you can, or, a late night showing. That's always fun. And or, go out and take a walk in the park. Like, oh my gosh, who don't like the park? Or drive down to the beach and walk on a boardwalk. Like, you just get creative.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, something where you got to spend a whole bunch of money or you take a whole weekend off or something. But, get out of the routine and go date your partner.
That's it. You got to break the routine. And I think for a lot of people, too, is when they do break up, it's like one person sometimes doesn't know how to let the other person go so that other person can move on.
Tell me about it.
It's like, we broken up. I met somebody new. I'm interested in this person. Now the old person wants to try to be, now they want to try to step up. Have the conversations, phone calls. And it's like, listen, no, you go find somebody that can be what you need and allow me to find what I need.
Exactly.
But a lot of times it's just blocking. It's like, no, if I can't have you,
Man, I know something about that. I said, God help whoever I do end up with, because they going to have they got somebody that's definitely going to try to block. Good grief. Good luck to him, because he's not going to make it easy at all.
You know how that is. It's like, hey, I'm going out tonight. Can you watch the kids? Who you going out with? Oh, just a friend. Is it a man? It's just a friend. Oh, I can't watch the kids tonight.
Okay, I'm going to have to lie, because I know he's not watching nobody. I'm going with my sister. Or my dad. I'm going to go spend time with my dad. What you going to say to that? Because I already know he's not going to. You're going on a date. First of all, he's not going to watch the kids. Second of all, he might just start popping up just to see if anybody's in there. I'm okay. We don't need this. And he shouldn't want that for himself. Who wants to be out here stalking those?
Yeah, that is not good.
No, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been the stalker. So it takes a lot of energy, let me tell you. Oh, God.
You see how she slid that in there, y'all?
You know,
I've been the stalker.
I wasn't always right in the head. I wasn't right with God. So, you know.
I think we've all done it, though. Everybody got a little stalker in them.
Yeah, even if it's not like you following somebody. But, I mean, the way social media is right now, you know, you can stalk somebody. You Facebook stalker, Instagram stalker. You know, you be like, all right, maybe they won't post something, but I know their best friend will. So let me go through their best friend's pictures and see what they put up. Because that's how I am. I'm like, I'm not going through your stuff. You're not going to put your stuff on there, but your best friend will. So, not saying that I encourage anybody to do that. Don't. I'm done with that. That's just how I used to be. Okay?
Oh, they still do it. They know they do it.
Oh, gosh, so do I. I'm lying. Oh, gosh, but no, yeah, people just gotta move on. I mean, I know it'd be hard sometimes. It sucks whether you have kids or not. I got this friend, we're friends. I don't see him in any other way but as a friendship. But every so often he's like, I still miss you. And I'm like, you remember that you was cheating on me and took my car to go pick up the person that you was cheating on me with, right? Like, I don't, okay? I don't miss you. We good. But, you know, thank you. Move on. It's fine. It's okay if you let yourself move on. Some people don't want to move on and they just be stuck. And then they still talking about the same stuff years later. If you don't let this person go so you can move on and you can be happy, you're blocking your own happiness. Why?
Exactly.
Go get what you need in life from, you know, yourself and from somebody else. Like, that's what I say to the kid's dad. I'm like, I want you to go find somebody who is what you need, because it ain't me, obviously. And I mean, I know that we both had some really great qualities, but I wasn't what you need, and you damn sure not what I need. So go ahead, you know, when you're ready, because you're not ready today. I promise you that you're not ready to be with anybody at this moment. But when you become ready, you know, go date and find what you need so you can be happy, so your kids can see you happy. Like, so your mom doesn't have to worry about your happiness. Like, go be happy.
Exactly. I think a lot of people they're so busy trying to hold on. It's like, you know, the person for you is out there. But as long as you're holding on to all these feelings for somebody that doesn't want you, you're going to miss that person that you can be with.
You really will. And it's going to be unfortunate. So
yeah,
don't miss out.
No. And like we said, like, take this time to fix you, to get to know you. That way, when that person does come, at least you'll be ready. Use the breakup as a learning thing. Like, okay, this is what I think happened. This is what went wrong. This is what I need to work on. And if a person tells you, listen, you know, you're too jealous, or you're over possessive, or, you know, you don't communicate effectively, or, you know, you don't show enough emotional support, use that to build and better yourself.
Right.
So you don't hear it again from the next person.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, everybody wants love. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to find that right person that when you lay down at night, you're happy to cuddle next to them. When you wake up in the morning, you're like, thank God you're in my life. Everybody wants that, you know. But you got to make yourself ready. You got to get yourself to the point to where you understand these are my flaws. This is what I need to work on. If you don't do that, you'll just be breaking up every year.
Yes, and that's not gonna be any good for you and your self-esteem either. Just reflection, just self-reflecting, and just looking at what could be some things that you could work on. Go ahead and work on them. It's gonna feel really good. I promise you. Not punching people in the face anymore feels really good for me, guys. So that's just, oh gosh, work on you. And then I have an uncle, and him and his wife, just such a cute love story. She went to Spelman, he went to Morehouse, and they got together, they got married, they were together for a really long time, had a baby. Unfortunately, she passed because she had brain cancer. But at her funeral, he said something that I'll never forget. He said, yeah, there were things that we didn't really like about each other initially. I mean, we loved each other and wanted to be with each other, but we had a couple of things that we didn't like about each other. But then we learned to love them about each other. Like, because she was the one for me. Now, if it had been somebody else, they could have had the same things, wrong with them, or not even wrong with them, but I leave the toilet seat up. She used to hate it. Now she's like, it is what it is. So, there's somebody out there that will, the things that aren't awful, or unhealthy, or just bad for you or for somebody else's well-being. But there could be some people that are a little uptight or something like that, and you might have been broken up with, and they're like, it's because you're too uptight. You give yourself time to get yourself together and think about what makes you happy and do what you need to do for you. You're going to find that person who's going to love that about you. They're like, oh my gosh, you keep me in check. I love this. So I've been told I'm too daggone goofy. It is what it is. I know I am, but I know there's somebody out there. Actually, there's a lot of people out there that like that. Okay? So just make sure you are doing what you need to do to make yourself happy. That is positive and productive. Allow yourself to move on, because when that right person comes, it's just going to be something super great. And oh gosh, I just love to see it. I love love. I'm just such a big, I love to watch people that I know in their relationships. Like, I'm never somebody's like, oh gosh, I'm single and I don't have, I am the biggest cheerleader for a successful, healthy relationship. And
see,
movies,
I am too.
Yeah, I get to crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember when they had their first date. Oh God, my girl Tiara gets married next year, and I remember when her and the guy that she's with, I went to high school with him. I'm like, I work with you and I went to high school with you. It's so crazy. I remember her telling me about their first date. Now they're getting married. I'm so excited. But she had, such issues with the person beforehand who, she was with and she had a child with. And there were certain things that he saw as flaws that, she took time to herself. She got things together that she knew that she needed to work on with. She gets with this next guy. He thinks she's perfect. And it was beautiful. It's still beautiful. I love it.
See, I do too. I love seeing when people are romantic with each other. Like when I see guys opening the car doors or carry, I love, because I'm a romantic, so I love seeing other people do that. I'll be wishing it was me, but I love seeing couples like that. Just enjoying the day, enjoying each other. Like even when they're at the park, they're walking and they're laughing. It's like that, so it just makes you feel good.
Yeah. It's so cute. And I'm like, oh gosh, I know one day my time will come. But until then, I'm going to look at y'all and be like, this is so cute. There's hope for me. I got this one day. Oh gosh, it's great. I love love. And I just really hope that people who are holding on to someone that, doesn't want to be with them, and yeah, it does suck. I'm sorry. But, life moves on. not just relationships, anything. Like, you know, you lose a job. You can't stay there and sit there and think about this job that you could have had. You got to go ahead and get another job. Like, you got to keep going. You know, you get your foot ran over. Now, you know, that hurts. But I'm sure you're going to keep going.
See?
Shoot.
That's true, though. You have to.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, you're going to miss out if you just sit there and dwell on what was and what could have been.
See, and that's what a lot of people do. They get stuck. I know a lot. I've done that too. As handsome and gorgeous as I am, you know, I was, I got you get stuck. You can get stuck on a person.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, it's like, what have I done? It's like, whole year, 2 years have passed, and I've totally wasted it.
Oh. Yeah, it can happen. I've had a few times where I'm like, oh man. But then, you know, once I get myself out there and I try to do better with whatever I have next coming, then, you know, I feel better. I feel good that I got myself up and out the house and stopped moping. Like, it doesn't do anyone any good. And then, you know, the first couple times, it might not feel good. It might be like, oh, gosh, why am I out here? Why did I do this? But then the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And then it's just like, wow, I went all this time. I wasn't even thinking about that person. You sure weren't, because you were having a good time. Live your life. Enjoy it. You only have one. Unless you're a cat, and then you have 9. But the way that we want it, the way that we plan. But we can't let it stop us from, you know, moving on and being happy and trying to find that person that'll, you know, make us happier. Not that person to make you happy, because you should make yourself happy, but that person that can, you know, make you happier than you already are.
Yes. They should be adding to your life.
Exactly. You can't look for somebody to give you purpose and give you happiness, because that'll never work.
No. No, you'll go crazy.
Absolutely. You'll go crazy. You might drive that person crazy. Like, you have to find happiness within yourself. And then, like you said, that person can add to it. You cannot be unhappy and go looking for somebody and be like, oh, that'll make me happy. No, you know. You might have moments that make you happy, but, you know, overall, you're not going to be happy.
No, I think people just got to learn that. I mean, they got to learn what they really want in a relationship. What are you really expecting in a relationship? What do you want from that other person? Like, what are you actually expecting them to bring into your life?
Right. That is true. Write it down. Take a mental note. So you don't forget. I mean, because sometimes you might have somebody come along and you're like, oh, gosh, this is it. And they don't mean none of the things that you were talking about. Or it might just be one thing on there. Then somewhere down the line, you know, the relationship may not work out, or it probably didn't. You're like, well, I didn't follow with what I said anyway. No. You know, I mean, you might find some people that are completely different than what you said. But I mean, I know I always kept it in my mind that you have to, for me, need somebody who respects their mother and respects women. Because if you find somebody who's just completely disrespectful to their mother, how do you think they about to treat you? And a couple of times I fell off course and I didn't stick with that. And then I'm sitting in this relationship like, oh, why isn't this working? Because he don't respect women. Duh. And you knew that. You saw how he treated his mom. He just cursed his mom out in the middle of the street. She wasn't a crackhead. She didn't do anything to him. She wasn't hurting him. He just mean. Grief.
And that's true. Because sometimes we'll think like, oh, well, they treat that person like that, but they wouldn't do me like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you find out, like, no, they treat you even worse sometimes than they treated the person you thought they would. The person that how you saw them treat somebody else.
Absolutely. You see that he cheated on the last 10 girls, or, you know, he was treating the last one like a dog. And you're like, you know what? We're going to be together. He's going to treat me like a queen. Okay. Good luck.
And I don't understand that. It's like, and I know I made that mistake. I guess like they say, a hard head make a soft behind. You know, I had to learn that lesson. But I did learn, like, if somebody's cheating, if you date somebody who's dating somebody else and you steal them from that person, how long before somebody steals them from you?
Right.
You know, so sometimes you just got to be realistic about, like, no matter what you think you're doing, whether you think the sex is so good or you think you're just so beautiful or you're just so muscular, you look like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, that ain't no woman going to leave you. You know, you can't be so shallow in your thinking.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to say that you're not special, but, I mean, it's probably going to happen to you, too. It's 9 times out of 10. It's going to happen to you, too. Whether you find out about it or whether you want to accept it or not, that's up to you. But, yeah, it's most likely going to happen to you, too.
See. Oh, relationships, I tell you. I tell you. Y'all just don't know. May was hell on wheels.
Yeah, May was crazy. I had no idea that May was crazy for more than just me until recently. Oh, gosh.
Oh, because May sure didn't bring no damn flowers.
Not at all. Not at all. But you know what? I know what I can do differently next time. And what's very important for me is I'm not bitter, you know, afterwards. Like, because I've had relationships. Yes.
Excellent point.
You know, come out on the other end and you just so I don't need a man. I'm not going to do this ever again. You know what? I'm a lesbian. Or because I had said that before. I said, you know what? I'm just done with men. Let's see how but I'm like, it doesn't work like that. What are you talking about? Shut up. And then I'll have people be like, oh gosh, I'm never going to get married because this didn't work and that didn't work. Well, you was with the wrong one. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean that you should stop trying and that you should just be so daggone bitter and wish death on any man that walks your way. Stop it.
See, because men are doing the same thing now. Men are getting that whole thing like, I don't need a man, I don't need a woman. I'm gonna join MGTOW, red pill, blue pill. It's like, oh my god.
Yikes.
I'm not even gonna lie. I could never join that whole MGTOW thing. I get what they're trying to do, or their philosophy, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't need a woman.
And what is this philosophy?
Are you asking me to share man cold stuff with you?
Oh. Yeah, share it on the show. What you got? It's like, no.
MGTOW is this, it's been around for a few years now, but this whole thing about men going their own way. And it was started because a lot of men feel like when it comes to divorce, men are getting screwed. When it comes to child support, men are getting screwed. I think it's mainly in response to the whole thing about the independent woman, how women don't need a man, like the feminist thing.
Yeah.
This is the male version of it where we're saying, listen, if you don't need us, we don't need you. So we're going to treat you exactly the same way you treat us. If you feel like you're better than us and you only need us just for intimate intercourse, fine. That's how we'll play it the same way you do. So no money. We go out. It's Dutch. We're not. We're gonna split all bills. I'm not moving in with you, and I'm definitely not gonna get married. So we can be partners, but we would not be tied together financially at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the thing now that a lot of guys are jumping on board with.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
But I want something a little more real. I can't necessarily go along with that. Because I'd rather have somebody that's in my life, you're in my life, not somebody that's like, we got this whole two different movements going to kind of disprove each other. Who's the better gender, you know?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. But, you know, to each his own, I suppose.
Yeah.
Good
I
luck.
mean, you like it. I love it. You know,
yeah,
that's
right.
your thing.
Absolutely. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so because I think I did one on that. I did one on dating games people play, manipulation games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like relationships. Like I said, they're not bad. It's just finding that right person.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be work like anything else. Like being a parent, that's work. Having a job and having, co-workers or a boss, gotta work to, I don't know, not curse people out or get along or whatever. Anything's going to be work. Nothing just comes to you and it's going to be perfect. Anything worth having is going to be a little challenging at times. I don't want it if it's easy. Shoot, I need to put in some work for it to be good. If it's super duper, oh gosh, this was no work, no effort, I just have this relationship, this print, like, it seems weird. It seems like it's going to fall apart quick.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know. I always wish people the best. And I tell people, when you get into a relationship, take your time. Pay attention to the person that you're with. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're seeing the values and morals that you want. Especially if you got kids, make sure that person is reflecting, behaviors that is going to be positive and not negative to your kids. Especially if you're looking for something long term. Because a lot of people don't just bring anybody around, and just have standards, have rules. And like you said, if you got goals or if you got standards that a man or woman needs to meet in your life, then make sure you stick to it. Don't drop it because you feel lonely or you feel like, I'm not going to meet nobody. Let me drop this. As long as you ain't being stupid. Don't sit here talking about he got to have a Jay-Z paycheck or a Beyonce body. Now you getting unrealistic.
Right.
But just keep it realistic. And, like we've been saying, if you break up with somebody, just take your time. Don't stalk the other person. Don't harass the other person. Don't use the kids. And just try to find a way to coexist, especially with the kids. Don't make them as a weapon against the other person. Find a way to coexist and find some positive motivation.
Absolutely. Sounds good. I know that's what I'm working on.
Oh, man. Oh. People in relationships, I tell you. We got to get our own doctor show. Melissa and Reggie. We keep it real. Unlike Dr. Phil.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're not just faces, or, I guess y'all hear our voices more than y'all see our faces. Oh, but, yeah, we real people, too. We got lives. We go through stuff. I'm sure y'all go through stuff as well, and it can be similar. It happens. We go through breakups just like everybody else does.
Yes. Oh, we go through a lot. But we do appreciate everybody listening and tuning in and all of the comments. Y'all been asking where Melissa was. Listen, okay, real quick. Here's the rumor mill. I don't know if you heard this.
No.
The rumor mill is that that we had an argument.
What?
That's why.
What?
That's why it was me. Angelique don't even know this yet. That's why it was Angelique on the show, like doing like more shows, because you were here. We had an argument, so you were no longer doing the show. Because they'd ask like, "Where's Melissa?" Like every time there was a show, like, "So is Melissa gonna be on the show? Where's Melissa?"
Wow.
And I'm like, "No, we didn't have an argument."
Yeah, no, I don't argue with anybody. Let me start there. The only person that could possibly get an argument out of me, we have 2 kids together, so that's going to be a little bit different. But I'm going to start with, I don't argue with anybody. But more importantly, me and Reggie are great. There is no issues here. Like I said, I have a hell of a lot going on here, but my load has just been lightened because I am no longer a teacher, nor do I have to take my son to the park various times a day just to keep him happy. Or take him to McDonald's 3 times a day. So, we're good, all right? Now that my availability has changed, I hope that I can be on here a little bit more. But y'all calm that down. Stop spreading the rumors around. Don't do that.
Well, you are welcome anytime. Anytime.
you.
Like, whatever, whenever. Just say, hey, I'm ready. We'll do it.
Absolutely. I will be on there. And to my girl on Instagram, Ashley, I don't know how to say your last name with the M, but you was asking me. She had sent me a message on there talking about when you gonna be on the show. I hope it's soon. Or I think she put it in the comments, something. And I was like, I hope soon too. I plan to be on there soon. So I'm back, girl. I appreciate the support and you asking, because I was like, I do need to get back on it. So here I am, guys.
Yeah, that is the Melissa bodyguard.
Oh gosh, I love it. It's so sweet.
Oh my goodness. Well, all right, people. We are definitely going to have Melissa back, even if I have to start stalking her.
Whatever brings me on this show, I guess we got to do what needs to be done.
Start going through her Instagram. Melissa Shaw VO. Where is she at? Who is she talking to? Now, if y'all haven't seen Melissa's TikTok, let me tell y'all something real quick. That is the funniest stuff. Y'all need to see her TikToks, especially the one where she said, what was it? You poured some, it was like
the glass
what is it?
I was drinking.
Yeah.
Sometimes I gotta say to myself, Lisa, you gotta stop drinking. Good thing my name ain't Lisa. Oh gosh. Seriously.
I saw that one and fell out laughing. I watched that one just to I use that when I need a laugh. I just click that on and just fall out. I'm just like, that just makes my day. That's like okay, I'm back.
That's so sweet. Thank you. It's serious, so sometimes, I need a couple of drinks. And I got to tell myself to stop. But, I'm calling myself Lisa so Melissa can keep drinking. Oh, gosh, that's funny.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always joining us. We appreciate the love, the support. Thank you, everybody, for the comments. And I know on the website, I still got to download more of those comments. So I promise you I will get to that this week and add those in. Thank you for everybody for your comments on the Instagram. Where's Melissa? Here she is. Okay? So thank you so much.
Yes, it's been my pleasure, and I will see you guys on the ground.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show with Reggie Maddox. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Be sure to check out our archive section on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and YouTube. Join us next time for another edition of the Simply Straight Talk Show.